Good morning, world. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker, and today is Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky, East Coast of the United States. Weather in this area. Currently, it is 55 degrees, partly cloudy. Today we can expect a high of 70, a mix of sun and clouds, highs in the low 70s and lows in the mid 40s. What to expect from weekend nor'easter weather-related news. UV will be high and increase from yesterday, number 6. Temperatures almost the same as yesterday, up by 2 degrees. Currently, conditions for running is good, cycling is good, and it's good weather for gardening. The AQI is good currently at 16, the UV index is low, and a light breeze at 8 miles per hour. Today's sunrise was at 7:40 a.m. and sunset will be at 7:10 p.m. Yesterday, folks, here in Lexington, it rained. And that's kind of like an understatement, but nonetheless, it rained. It rained so much that the National Weather Service put up an article on how much rain we did have. So let me see if I can find this and bring it forward for you today. And speaking of time, it is about 8:09 a.m. here in Lexington. So, speaking of yesterday, Tuesday, rainfall Tuesday set a record for Lexington. What's in the forecast next? Tuesday, this is coming from the Lexington Herald Leader. Tuesday marked the wettest October day on record for Lexington. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey said 4.35 inches of rain had fallen by just before 4 p.m. and it was still raining. There have been only 15 other times in recorded weather history when more than 4 inches of rain has fallen in a single day in Lexington, Bailey said in a post on the social media platform X. The heavy rain prompted the National Weather Service in Louisville to issue a flash flood warning for Fayette County through 6:30 p.m., and several roads in Lexington were closed late Tuesday afternoon because of high water. Fayette County Public Schools canceled outdoor after-school activities because of the weather. Bailey said the rain will taper off Tuesday night and will be followed by cooler temperatures. Highs Wednesday will be in the 65 to 70 range with gusty winds. By Thursday morning, lows could be around 40 to 45 degrees, he said. And looking further into the week, temperatures will be in the low to mid 70s on through the weekend and into the first couple of days of next week, Monday and Tuesday. So that is the weather for this area, Lexington, Kentucky. Since this is kind of like reaching out to the world, viewing audience, it's always nice to promote something good, and that's encouraging. And one of the things that I had ran across, and again, it is a Lexington location for this is in Lexington. As an adult, we often say, well, we need to give children activities and keep them off the street, which is more of a thought process than an actual physical thing. So when I saw this article about an activity here in Lexington, I was impressed. And it's called I Got My Block. So let me update you. Inspired by the Voyage movement, young people in Lexington are taking ownership of their neighborhoods through community cleanups and service projects. And to me, this kind of refers back even to certain lyrics from Michael Jackson's song, Change the Man in the Mirror. If you want change, start with yourself. And I think this article exemplifies that. And it's an initiative called I Got My Block encourages you to pick up trash, help elders with yard work, and actively improve their local communities. Led by Voyage Movement founder Terry Dumphord, the program engages students and young men in downtown neighborhoods. Recent events saw young people forego their fall break to spend time combing streets with garbage bags and grabbers, doing something bigger than themselves. Highlights of the initiative: empowering youth. The project gives young people a chance to reframe the community narrative. As Dumphord explained, while you hear youth and you hear violence, many of these kids are proactive and doing great things, which the initiative aims to highlight. Creating a positive ripple effect. If your community looks good, you should feel a little better about living there. Dumphord told WKYT. By starting small, participants hope to make a larger positive impact on other communities in Lexington. Mentorship and guidance. Dumphord, who started the Voyage movement in 2016 after his release from federal prison, provides mentorship and positive guidance to the young participants. Community engagement. The project serves as a call to action for everyone to get involved and make a difference. The Voyage movement regularly visits different blocks, and community members can reach out to request a cleanup in their area. Tangible action. Beyond picking up litter, the youth have helped neighbors with tasks like taking out trash and raking leaves. Financial support. The Voyage movement was able to pay participants for their work through a grant from One Lexington, a city organization focused on addressing gun violence among youth. Through their tangible acts of service, these young Lexonians are fostering a greater sense of pride and ownership in their community. Excuse me. Their actions showcase that positive change can start with one person, or in this case, one block, and spread throughout the city. So, a round of applause for I Got My Block. Youth in action. Change starts with you. Exemplified. So I just thought I would share that, and that's something that can be applied worldwide. You know, we all live somewhere, as they say. As we are now, U.S. government shutdown 2025. Again, one of those situations where it seems like these kind of things are new to me. You know, I've been a government employee for GSA and also for the Department of Defense, and I know that every year a budget has to be decided and passed, but it didn't seem like at that time, or maybe my level of awareness has grown as well, that it was that complicated. So the latest situation, according to Hollywood Life, U.S. government shut down 2025. List of services and agencies closed. Besides the employees of the government that were furloughed earlier this year and given a severance package, I just think of, people in general, no income. And if you're an adult, not just chronologically, but in responsibilities, then the bills keep coming. So, here's the article. After midnight on October 1st, 2025, the federal government officially shut down because lawmakers failed to come together on a new spending plan for the fiscal year. The halt leaves hundreds of thousands of federal workers in limbo and raises new questions about how long agencies can continue daily services. With Republicans pointing fingers at Democrats over demands for health care subsidies, and Democrats pushing back that those must be part of any deal, the standoff has already begun to interfere with everything from economic reporting to food aid programs. As agencies start to scale back, here's what we know about the shutdown, how it affects you, and what businesses have ceased service until further notice. What happens when the government shuts down? When the U.S. government shuts down, non-essential federal workers could face furloughs, meaning an indefinite period of no pay while their jobs pause. The service disruption can impact those outside of Washington, D.C. as well. National parks and museums face widespread closures, while small businesses that rely on federal loans and approvals could experience delays. What businesses are closed during a government shutdown? The October 2025 government shutdown will affect non-essential businesses, but essential ones such as USPS, TSA, the Social Security Administration, and the military will continue working. The following list includes the businesses and agencies the shutdown could impact: Department of Commerce, Department of Education, Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Department of Labor, National Park Service, Small Business Administration, SBA, NASA, Food and Drug Administration, FDA, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC/NIH, General Services Administration, GSA, and Department of Agriculture, USDA. Why did the government shut down? The government shut down on October 1, 2025, because Congress did not agree on a funding bill before the start of the fiscal year. Donald Trump openly blamed Democrats for disagreeing with Republicans on the spending bill. Democrats stood firm about health care, and Republicans accused them of causing the shutdown to satisfy their voters for the 2026 midterm elections. Excuse me. After the vote, Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said, "Our guarantee is to the American people that we're going to fight as hard as we can for their health care, plain and simple," per Reuters. Trump shared a deepfake AI-generated video to social media of Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the mariachi music playing in the background, and Jeffries wearing a sombrero. So that's the latest on that. So that led me to wonder, is this like a one-time occurrence? Is it like, how my memory serves me? Anyway, so I Googled it. How long in the past has it taken Congress to pass the budget? Here we go. On average, it has taken Congress about 4 months past the legal deadline to pass the final spending bills for the fiscal year. The official deadline for a new federal budget is October 1, the start of the fiscal year. However, Congress has rarely met this deadline. a pattern that has worsened in recent decades. Average budget dead timelines. Since fiscal year 1998, the final appropriations bill has become law, an average of 117 days, nearly 4 months after the October 1 deadline. In the past 2 decades, the delay has grown, increasing from about 80 days to roughly 140 days. Use of stopgap funding measures. To prevent a government shutdown when the deadline is missed, Congress frequently passes stopgap funding measures called continuing resolutions, CRs. A common pattern, Congress uses a series of temporary CRs to keep the government running until a final agreement can be reached on a full year budget, which is often an omnibus spending package combining multiple appropriation bills. Surveillance of CRs. Congress has resorted to using at least one CR in all but 3 of the past 47 fiscal years. Full year CRs. In some cases, negotiations fail completely, and Congress funds the government for the entire year using a series of CRs. This happened for fiscal year 2025. Budget delays by the numbers. Passing all bills on time. The last time all regular appropriation bills were passed and signed into law before the fiscal year began was for the fiscal year 1997. Budget resolutions. Congress is also supposed to pass a budget resolution by April 15th, but has failed to meet this internal deadline in 45 of the past 51 fiscal years. Longest delays. In one extreme case, the final spending bill for fiscal year 2017 was not enacted until May 2017, more than 7 months into the fiscal year. Reasons for delays. Budget delays have become more common due to increased political polarization, leading to disagreements over spending levels and policy provisions known as riders. This frequently results in a stalemate that can only be resolved after the deadline has passed. So, now you know as much as I know about it. Getting back into the news, President Trump is known for saying things that, once they are checked factually, do not back up what his comments are conveying. So we will just kind of start with this one. And it's coming from the Independent Politics. Where's the missing $17 trillion? Lawmaker says Trump must reveal what he's done with new investment bonanza he keeps boasting about. Democrats may investigate President Trump over his repeated claims that a $17 trillion flood of foreign and domestic investment has poured into the U.S. during his administration. Trump has boasted that his supposed investment has been sparked by companies expanding operations or moving business to the U.S. after he imposed a raft of global tariffs. Donald Trump is living in a fantasy world. Representative Robert Garcia, the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee, said Thursday in an interview with Midas Touch, if there is 17 trillion somewhere, the government doesn't know about it. None of our committees have access to it. Treasury has no idea what the hell he's talking about. He's either a liar or he's somehow stashed away money in some magical way, and there's even more corruption happening. If this keeps going, we're going to have to investigate where the hell those $17 trillion dollars are, Garcia added. Representative Eric Swalwell, another Democratic House member, has voiced similar criticisms. Why are we in a shutdown? He wrote on X. Trump says the U.S. has taken in $17 trillion since he became president. Where is the money? Why haven't you gotten a check? The White House hammered Democrats for their claims. This is astonishingly stupid even for a Democrat. White House spokesman Kush Desai told The Independent, instead of calling on the federal government to somehow expropriate trillions in investment commitments by private companies to make and hire in America, Robert Garcia should tell Senate Democrats to just reopen the government. The president has said multiple times in recent days that there have been $17 trillion in investments since he took office. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion, Trump told the United Nations last month. Think of it. 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States, and it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investments, Trump said elsewhere in September. Most of it's coming because of tariffs. The president's statements appear to nearly double the White House estimate on such deals, which claims $8.8 trillion in investments and commitments under Trump. The Trump administration's tariffs, which have netted the U.S. upwards of $158 billion since Trump took office, are expected to raise $2.3 trillion in revenue over the next decade, and $17 trillion is more than double the entire GDP of the U.S. economy. The article concludes. You hear these big numbers about money so much in the media that when you talk about anything less than $5 million, it's almost like, is it worth it? Excuse me on that one. So that's the comment regarding Trump's comments about how much money is coming in. And is it true or is it not true? U.S. Treasury confirms Donald Trump's administration's plans to mint $1 Trump coin commemorating America's 250th birthday, despite federal law banning living presidents. This is from Hollywood Unlocked Politics. Hashtag socialites, are you here for it? The U.S. Treasury is confirming the Donald Trump administration's plans to mint a $1 Trump coin to commemorate America's 250th birthday. This despite it being illegal to do so. A few days ago, news broke that the Trump administration was considering minting the controversial $1 Trump coin. The move was in anticipation of America's 250th anniversary. However, it is noted that the move is illegal. Additionally, note that. Additionally, ahead of America's 250th anniversary, Congress passed the Circulating Collectible Coin Redesign Act. It allows the U.S. Treasury to mint special $1 coins to celebrate the event. The act states that the Treasury Secretary may mint for issuance during the one-year period beginning January 1, 2026, $1 coins with designs emblematic of the United States semi-quincentennial. U.S. Treasury confirms Donald Trump's administration plan to mint $1 Trump coin. On October 3rd, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed the news. He did so by retweeting a post from U.S. Treasury Treasurer Brandon Beach. Beach confirmed the news of the $1 Trump coin while replying to another post. The original post was from Steve Guest, a conservative commentator who has previously worked for U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican, Texas. Guests shared the draft of the coin. It depicted Trump's side profile on one side with the phrases "Liberty" across the top and "God We Trust" on the bottom, and with the dates 1776 to 2026. On the reverse side, the coin's draft shows the famous image of Trump raising his fist after the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt. Additionally, the American flag is shown bellowing behind his head. Also on the coin are the words "Fight, Fight, Fight" at the top. On the bottom it reads "United States of America, e pluribus unum," meaning out of many states/colonies, one nation. Guests captioned the post, "Attention all patriots. America is back and so is the $1 coin." At POTUS, at Real Donald Trump will forever be the face of America's 250th birthday, thanks to at Secretary Scott Bessent and at Treasury Beach. These first drafts show that our nation is ready to fight, fight, fight. Posting on X, Beach said, "No fake news here. These first drafts honoring America's 250th birthday and at POTUS are real. Looking forward to sharing more soon once the obstructionist shutdown in the United States government is over." Donald Trump administration's plan to mint a $1 coin continues. However, it is currently not clear when the controversial $1 Trump coin design will be minted. Again, it is against U.S. law to display the image of a sitting president or living former president. Per law, a president may be featured on a coin no sooner than 2 years after their death. According to the U.S. Code governing coin design, no coin issued under this subsection may bear the image of a living former or current president, or of any deceased former president during the 2-year period following the date of death of that president. The law also states no head and shoulders portrait or bust of any person living or dead, and no portrait of a living person may be included in the design on the reverse of specified coins. Excuse me. However, it looks like the Trump administration is attempting to get around legislation by featuring his side portrait on the front side of the coin, not the reverse. The reverse still does feature Trump, but it's not clear if the front-facing image would be a violation. The image of him from the Butler rally may fall outside the direct language head and shoulders portrait or bust. Furthermore, Treasury spokesperson told CNN, while a final $1 coin design has not yet been selected to commemorate the United States semi-quincentennial, this first draft reflects well the enduring spirit of our country and democracy, even in the face of immense obstacles. We look forward to sharing more soon. So, these are a couple of slides. I don't know how well you can see that, but okay, now it's a little better. Okay, so the next slide is the actual physical paper. Doesn't reflect very well. And this is commentary from people discussing it. And again, the front and back of the coin. So, we'll see what happens about this law. A couple of months from now, folks, we will be ready for the Super Bowl, and preparations are already underway. February gets here really quick at the end of the year into 2026. And amongst things in the news is the halftime show. And if you have not heard, Bad Bunny has been selected to perform the halftime show. So this is from American football. from Variety. House Speaker Johnson calls Bad Bunny at Super Bowl a terrible decision, says it should have been someone with a broader audience like Lee Greenwood. Well, back at you, who is Lee Greenwood? So, Bad Bunny and Johnson. The article as follows: House Speaker Mike Johnson has weighed in on the political debate over Bad Bunny being booked to play the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, saying it was a terrible decision, echoing the beliefs of President Donald Trump, who already established his own antipathy toward Bad Bunny. Johnson did have some constructive input for who he believes should have been picked to perform by halftime producer Roc Nation. The Republican leader said 80s country star Lee Greenwood would have been America's clear and obvious preference, citing a broader audience. Asked about the controversy outside House chambers, Johnson admitted that the globally popular artist who just hosted Saturday Night Live over the weekend was not really on his radar, but said he knew it was a bad call anyway. I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was, but it sounds like a terrible decision in my view from what I'm hearing, Johnson said. Asked why, the speaker noted, it sounds like he's not someone who appeals to a broader audience. Johnson added, and there are so many eyes on the Super Bowl, a lot of young, impressionable children. And in my view, you would have Lee Greenwood or role models doing that, not somebody like this. Johnson did not mention, as some other Bad Bunny detractors have, that a bone of contention for some conservatives is that the Puerto Rican artist sings exclusively in Spanish. The singer also took flack from the right for recently saying that, following a record-breaking residency in Puerto Rico, he would not be bringing his tour to the continental United States anytime soon because of the possibility that it would draw ICE raids on his crowds. That fear was all but confirmed when Trump administration officials said ICE would be at the Super Bowl in force in response to Bad Bunny getting star billing. On Monday, the president took a stance much like Johnson's, likewise declaring that while he knew nothing about Bad Bunny, he knew his appearance would be a travesty nonetheless. Responding to a question from a Newsmax host who said, the NFL just chose the Bad Bunny rabbit or whatever his name is, Trump answered, I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know why they're doing it. It's crazy. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Other members of the administration have indicated they have a better idea who Bad Bunny is, that has affected plans for ICE to be out in force at the Super Bowl. After the halftime booking was announced, Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem both indicated agents would be deployed to the game to pick up undocumented migrants. Asked specifically about the NFL's Bad Bunny booking, Noem said, well, they suck and we win. And God will bless us and we'll stand out and be proud of ourselves at the end of the day. And they won't be able to sleep at night because they don't know what they believe. And they're so weak, we'll fix it. In the encounter in the House hallways Tuesday, the speaker was asked the questions about Bad Bunny by Pablo Manriquez, who runs the immigrant news outlet Migrant Insider. Bad Bunny has more than 100 songs charts on the Hot 100 in the U.S., including the #1 single, I Like It. His last 4 albums have all debuted at #1 on Billboard's U.S. album chart. The most recent, Deba Tirar Mas Fotos, debuted at #2 on the Billboard 200 in January with 122,000 units, then climbed to #1 with 203,500 units the following week. And if that wasn't enough, embedded in this article is a link to Taylor Swift explains why she's not playing Super Bowl halftime on The Tonight Show. This article is taken from Variety under Home Music News. Not gonna lie, Taylor Swift's interview with Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show, broadcast Monday evening, was on the light side. At one point, they talked at length about bread. That's referencing the podcast that the Kelseys have, and she was talking about how she was spending time making sourdough bread. However, the expanded interview on the show's website contains some actual news. During one of Fallon's trademark games that he plays with guests, Swift was asked to say which of 5 rumors he found online were true. And the first was that she declined an offer to be the Super Bowl's halftime performer because she would not own rights to the performance footage. On the broadcast, she makes a face but is not seen saying anything about the issue. However, in the expanded version of the interview posted on the show's social media and website, she speaks at length about why she's not performing at the big game, as had been rumored before Bad Bunny was officially announced as the 2026 halftime entertainer. After denying with a flat no that footage rights were the reason she declined to perform, Swift explained that her management had only received unspecific questions about it from Roc Nation, which programs the Super Bowl's entertainment rather than a formal offer. She added that regardless of whether or not an offer was official, she'd be too concerned about her fiancé, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, to even think about performing in the middle of the Super Bowl, which does not necessarily mean she presumes that he or the Chiefs, whose record is currently 2-3, will be in the game. Halftime performers are announced too early in the season to know which 2 teams will be playing. Speaking of Roc Nation, which is led by Jay-Z, she said, "Jay-Z has always been very good to me. Our business teams are really close. They sometimes will call and say, 'How does she feel about,' she murmurs something vague, meaning whatever. And that's not like an official offer or a conference room conversation, more how does she feel about it in general." And we're always able to tell him the truth, which is that I'm in love with the guy who does that sport on that actual field. She explained, like professional football is violent chess. That is gladiators without swords. That is dangerous. I am, for the whole season, locked in on what that man is doing on the field. Can you imagine if he's out there every single week putting his life on the line, doing this very dangerous, very high pressure, high intensity sport? And I'm like, she puts on a dizzy voice and face, I wonder what my choreo should be. I think we should do two versions of Shake It Up, Into Blank Space, Into Cruel Summer. That would be great. She laughed about before adding, this has nothing to do with Travis. He would love for me to do it, but I'm just too locked in. So Swifties will have to wait for a Super Bowl halftime performance until further notice. So there you have several views of upcoming events in February. And to kind of put the ribbon on it, LeBron James makes feelings clear on Bad Bunny being named Super Bowl 60 halftime performer. Here we go. Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James is ready to kick off his 23rd season in the NBA. With this remarkable feat, James will become the only player in professional basketball history to have played a 23rd successive year in the NBA. The soon-to-be 41-year-old shows no signs of slowing down and is practicing hard alongside his teammates in training camp ahead of the 25-26 NBA season, which will commence on October 21. The former Cavaliers and Heat legend inspires many. In addition to playing basketball, actively engages in other activities, appreciating talents from various fields of interest. James traveled to Puerto Rico for a family vacation during the off-season break in July. He met his good friend and famous American rapper and record producer Bad Bunny at his residence there. Bunny performed a concert there, and James can be seen vibing to all the tunes on show that night. On October 1, the opening day of Media Day at the UCLA Health Training Center, James answered some questions for the ESPN LA 7:10 a.m. show. When the host asked the Lakers superstar to reflect on his time meeting the rapper in Puerto Rico and his honest opinion on Bunny getting chosen to perform the halftime show at Super Bowl 60. James said, "It was unbelievable. I had an unbelievable time. It was actually the opening weekend, the time I was there, and Puerto Rico is like a great place for me. They always welcomed me and my friends and my family there. So much respect that I have for the island and everybody down there." He added, "I'm super happy for Bad Bunny that he's able to represent the Super Bowl in San Francisco. That's going to be super dope, and hopefully I could be there, man, and support him. He's a great friend of mine, so I think it was great to see." During the media day, a reporter asked James how he felt going into the 23rd NBA season of his career and how he managed to keep up with the expectations riding on his shoulders with his increasing age. The 40-year-old replied, "It's pretty cool to just know how many miles I got as far as this game in my 22 years now, starting 23 years, and to be still able to play at a high level, to still be able to go out there and can make plays and be respectful on the floor." He added, it's just super humbling and gratifying for me personally. I love to play the game, and I love to play at a high level. For me, age is just a number, but it is reality too. I'm around a lot of young guys. I'm around a 10-year-old daughter running through the house all day, every day, screaming. I got my 18-year-old son who is in Tucson. James concluded, he sees him on TikTok dancing with his mom and his sister. My 20-year-old is right over there turning 21 in a week. Like, how could I not feel young? And then, my wife is beautiful. I look good. I look good at my age. It's like the wine that I drink. The older the wine I drink, the better it is. What's up, BT? So, I feel great. I don't know. I sleep well, I guess. Lakers commenced their preseason games, the opener against the Phoenix Suns on Friday night. Thereafter, an opening night, October 21, LA will host the Warriors at Crypto.com Arena to kick off the proceedings for the 2025-26 NBA season. So, comments all around about the Super Bowl upcoming event and what will actually happen. I started the show with the local thing about our youth here in Lexington, which I said is a principle that could be applied worldwide. So I'm going to jump over into Canada for this next one. It is related to martial arts, which I do mention from time to time. And as I said, it's from Canada, and it is a 6-minute read, so I will try to highlight it, but it's from So Today, home and local sports. Martial arts prodigy Brett Mahoney prepares for international competition, and October 6th. One thing about this article, It does have a link that you can just listen to it. You don't have to read it. And it does have a few slides. Hopefully that's him doing a split. He started at 7 years old, is now 15. And that's another picture of him. I don't know how well that translates over to you, vision-wise. Here's one of him doing a full split, which I will tell you is very painful. And of him being receiving his black belt certification. So from 7 to 15, the young man has an amazing schedule. I'll just read the first little couple paragraphs so you can get an idea of what's going on. But what I really liked about this article was the way he concluded his efforts as far as martial arts is concerned. So anyway, at just 15 years old, Brett Mahoney is making it from Canada. And the thing about this event, he's training in Canada for this international thing, but it would be held in Niagara Falls. So that's the connection as well. At just 15 years old, Brett Mahoney is making a name for himself in the martial arts world while juggling school and other activities. Mahoney, a dedicated Hapkido student, is gearing up for the global spotlight as he has secured his place at the World Karate and Kickboxing Championship. The championships are set to unfold in Niagara Falls, New York from October 25 to October 31. The WKC World Championships is an annual tournament which brings together martial arts from across the globe. Martial artists. The martial arts categories encompass speed fighting, both point and continuous sparring, as well as kata and weapons. Competitors are organized into divisions based on age and weight class to ensure fair competition. Mahoney is a student at Elliott Lake Secondary School, and his martial arts journey began at the young age of 7, inspired by a visit to in motion fitness with his mother. She took me to check it out, and I was instantly captivated by the KMAC Dojang. KMAC refers to the Korean Martial Arts Center. Mahoney remembers, at that time, I was really into the movie Three Ninjas, so it felt like the perfect match. Shortly after, his mother enrolled him in class, setting him on a path that would shape both his character and skills. Under the mentorship of his instructor, Paul Moran, Mahoney quickly developed a deep passion for martial arts. I loved the classes and the excitement of ratings where I could earn new stripes and belts. So, not only does martial arts, he travels with the instructor to other locations to train as well and to instruct. He also has his own activities with his friends, keeping himself grounded at home, according to his parents, who both go with him whenever he's going to participate. And he also has a brother who has autism. So one of the things that they did to facilitate themselves financially was his mother makes bracelets and sells them for $5. So I think that's a pretty good schedule for a young man and still kind of maintain himself. As his instructor says, he currently travels with me several nights per week to teach and train, and he gets paid to teach. He recently received his black belt grading in August, and in describing that particular event, he says, we travel to Sault Ste. Marie once a month to train for 4 hours with other MKMAA schools. It started at 6 a.m. with an intense workout, followed by a rigorous testing session where we demonstrated everything we had learned, recalls Mahoney. The experience culminated in a banquet dinner where he was promoted to first-degree black belt, a moment he describes as unforgettable. Martial arts has greatly improved my discipline, focus, and confidence, he states. Again, this is another example of children having activities, young people being involved, and what benefits can come out of that. But how he sums it all up, without just going on and on and on about it, because like I said, it's a 6-minute read. So he was especially proud of being able to do middle splits like Jean-Claude Van Damme. When asked what message he wants to share with others, he replied, to train hard, love what you do, and never give up. So another young person in the news in a positive way. And again, that's from Canada. The event will be in Niagara Falls this month. Wednesday, October 8, 2025. Before I close out, September was Hispanic Heritage Month. If you recall, heritage displays have been removed from the workplace per government order. The internet has been displaying signs from various businesses across the country here in the U.S. that are worded in a humorous way. So, that being said, September was Hispanic Heritage Month, and I saw a sign that read this way: money can't buy happiness, but you could marry a Mexican. It's almost the same thing. I thought it was cute anyway. Good morning, world. That's it. Hashtag.